Temperance, living a balanced and disciplined life. Welcome back to our series on Introduction to the Devout Life by St. Francis de Sales. In our previous episode, we explored the virtue of obedience and how it aligns our will with God's. Today, we will focus on the virtue of temperance, which St. Francis de Sales describes as the key to living a balanced and disciplined life. Let's dive into what temperance means and how we can cultivate this virtue to lead a life of moderation and self-control. Understanding temperance. Temperance, as St. Francis de Sales teaches, is the virtue that moderates our desires and helps us to use God's gifts responsibly. It is not about rejecting the good things in life, but about enjoying them in a balanced and disciplined way. Temperance keeps our appetites in check, whether it's our desires for food, drink, entertainment, or other pleasures, and allows us to use these things in a way that honors God. St. Francis de Sales reminds us that temperance is about living in harmony with our desires. It enables us to enjoy the good things of life without becoming enslaved to them. Whether it's food, comfort, or even ambition, temperance helps us maintain self-control and use these gifts in a way that is healthy and spiritually uplifting. For example, consider a priest who is passionate about his work but struggles with overworking himself. By practicing temperance, he learns to balance his ministry with rest, prayer, and time with loved ones. This discipline not only strengthens his vocation, but also helps him serve with renewed energy and joy. The importance of temperance in our vocation. For those of us in religious life, temperance is essential for maintaining balance in our vocations. St. Francis de Sales teaches that temperance helps us avoid extremes, whether it's overindulgence or excessive austerity, so that we can serve God and others with a healthy mind, body, and spirit. Temperance keeps us grounded. It reminds us that while we may be passionate about our ministry or driven by our goals, we must also take care of our health, relationships, and spiritual well-being. Without temperance, we risk burnout or becoming consumed by our desires. But with temperance, we cultivate balance, which enables us to serve faithfully and joyfully. For example, think of a seminarian who loves studying but often neglects physical exercise or socializing with his peers. By practicing temperance, he learns to set boundaries, ensuring that he maintains a healthy balance between his intellectual pursuits, his physical health, and his friendships. The obstacles to temperance. While temperance is a vital virtue, there are obstacles that can make it difficult to practice. St. Francis de Sales identifies several common challenges. Obstacle number 1: overindulgence. Overindulgence can easily lead us away from temperance. Whether it's overeating, overspending, or overworking, we can become consumed by our desires if we don't set healthy limits. St. Francis de Sales encourages us to practice moderation in all things, reminding us that self-control is essential for a balanced life. Obstacle number 2. Excessive austerity. Temperance is not about deprivation, but balance. Some people may go to the other extreme, denying themselves even the basic pleasures of life out of a sense of duty or perfectionism. St. Francis de Sales teaches that temperance allows us to enjoy God's gifts without becoming attached to them, embracing a healthy middle ground. Obstacle number 3. Lack of discipline. A lack of discipline can prevent us from practicing temperance. Without the habit of self-control, it's easy to give in to our immediate desires rather than thinking long-term. St. Francis de Sales reminds us that temperance requires consistent effort and discipline, helping us to stay focused on our ultimate goal, living a devout and balanced life. How to cultivate temperance? So, how can we actively cultivate temperance in our daily lives? St. Francis de Sales offers several practical steps to help us grow in this virtue. Step number 1. Set boundaries in your daily routine. Whether it's limiting the amount of time spent on entertainment, food, or work, establishing healthy limits helps you practice self-control and maintain balance. Be mindful of when indulgence turns into excess. Step number 2. Practice moderation in all things. This doesn't mean denying yourself the pleasures, but enjoying them in a balanced way. Whether it's enjoying a meal, taking a break, or spending time with loved ones, temperance allows you to savor these moments without becoming attached to them. Step number 3. Develop self-discipline. Cultivating temperance requires regular practice and effort. By starting with small acts of self-control, such as resisting a second helping of dessert or choosing to take a walk instead of indulging in another TV episode, you build the strength to apply temperance in all areas of your life. The fruits of temperance. St. Francis de Sales teaches that cultivating temperance leads to greater freedom, peace, and self-mastery. When we live with temperance, we are no longer slaves to our desires, but are free to enjoy life's blessings in a healthy and balanced way. Temperance brings harmony to our lives. It allows us to enjoy the gifts God has given us while keeping our desires in check. This balance leads to greater clarity, joy, and peace, as we no longer feel pulled in many directions by our appetites or ambitions. In conclusion, temperance is an essential virtue for living a devout and balanced life. St. Francis de Sales invites us to embrace temperance as a way to maintain harmony in our desires and actions. By setting boundaries, practicing moderation, and cultivating self-discipline, we can live a life of freedom and joy rooted in the peace that comes from living in balance. As we conclude today's session, let's reflect on a few key takeaways about temperance. Number 1, temperance is about balance and moderation. It involves moderating our desires and using God's gifts responsibly. Number 2, temperance is essential in our vocation. It helps us maintain a healthy balance between work, prayer, and rest, avoiding extremes. Number 3, recognize obstacles to temperance. Overindulgence, excessive austerity and lack of discipline can hinder our ability to live a balanced life. Number 4. Practical steps to cultivate temperance. Set boundaries, practice moderation, and develop self-discipline in daily decisions. Number 5. The fruit of temperance is peace and freedom. Living a temperate life leads to greater harmony, self-mastery, and spiritual clarity. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the virtue of temperance. Live Jesus.